Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Growing Full Circle podcast. I am your host, Dominique Skates, and thank you for joining me today. I am excited to be back here in front of the mic. It has been some time since I last published an episode. It doesn't mean I haven't been busy. I have been immersing myself within life and understanding what it means to be spiritual from my experiences. And that's what I want to talk to you today about. It's going to be one of those catch-up episodes. I'm going to call this a new season. Well, I'll figure out how to format it later. But I am truly excited to bring the knowledge and perspective that I have gained over these past few months to you, my listeners, as it has brought me such joy and pleasure to feel as if I have connected the dots and continue to get the answers to my questions. And it's allowing me to feel whole and complete as an entire being, as a soul. So today we're going to discuss aliens. We're going to discuss love. We are going to talk about gratitude. All these things have happened to me recently, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. So let me not get into too much details and let's just dive right into the episode. So as I mentioned, I have been immersing myself in life, and ways I've been doing that is by participating in group discussions. I've hosted a few guided meditations, and I continue to educate myself on spiritual teachings of the past. One event that I recently attended was a book reading regarding, I'll have to pull up the information. I'm going to become a better podcaster so I can give y'all the proper information when I'm actually discussing it. But the book was about this person. They are channeling interstellar beings. And during the event, they were able to read an excerpt from their book, and we were able to ask questions based on, our questions. There are people within that room who actually read the full book. But for my particular purposes in today's discussion, I want to focus on one aspect that really took me down a rabbit hole of finding answers to questions that I've long held within my heart. One of the statements that was made during the session was that the interstellars discuss moving humanity from our 3D dimension. Some of us are operating on a 4D perspective. Others of us have achieved a 5D perspective. And these interstellars mentioned that their goal is to assist not just humanity, but other planets that they mentioned, but humanity in particular, into moving into a 5D space. And this drove me to educate myself more on people's experiences and their teachings and views about spiritual dimensions. The second thing that I really took from this interstellar meeting was the idea, in order to channel, is to be receptive. And this idea really hit home for me because my ideology of spirituality is that we are not alone within this world, that other beings, other interstellars are able to connect to source in the same manner that we are, because they too are source. And it took me to reread. I'm going to say this one because I actually do know what I was reading for this one, but it is from Matías de Stefano's 9 Spiritual Dimensions. And within that, this person is someone else who has channeled this information for us to gain this knowledge. And what I took from reading, this is something that I've read before, but I found within my journey, even if you receive the information, if you're not ready, or if your mind or perspective isn't able to grasp what is being said, it can seem jarbled in a way. And me going back to reread, I have such clarity and such faith in understanding that the information is true. I've been able to resonate with it on a different level. And within these 9 spiritual dimensions, Matías talks about the 9th dimension being that of which is source, which is love. And I don't think I've discussed this in detail yet on the podcast, but one of my experiences in life was traveling to that 9th dimension and being enveloped in this love that you feel when you make that journey and reconnect with source. It's something that has had a lasting effect on me. Even if the actual day has faded, I remember the time frame. I remember the things that triggered it. I remember the feeling of going and the feeling that I cannot escape, which is that unconditional love is the thing. It's purpose. It's the mission. And my understanding of what that means has transformed by diving in and understanding where I went. Obviously, experiencing it at the time, I had a clear knowing of what it was, but the illusions of the 3D clouded my perspective and didn't give me the totality. I had things that I still needed to learn in order for my perspective to grow and for me to accept and change my thinking and my mindset to accept the truth. It's I don't want to say it's easy, but I want to get into later in this podcast. Yeah, we'll talk about it later in this podcast. But the gratitude that I feel for being able to feel clarity within my perspective is a tremendous side effect that I didn't anticipate. Actually, I didn't expect to feel so much love from receiving the information about life. Because for me, for the longest time, there was no information on how to live. There's a bunch of you should and you should nots, and the whole spiel. Everyone has a experience. But now I feel like I have successfully connected the dots, and I am at peace with being in the present. I am at peace with living life and understanding its purpose. I have clear knowing that I am an iteration of God, and we all can learn from that. But before I get too off topic, if you haven't been too abreast on the news, the U.S. recently had a hearing for UFO whistleblowers. And during that hearing, there was details regarding people who have viewed UFOs and their testimony stating that they believe that they are non-human. And that clarity is something that I have been waiting a long time for. It has been a feeling inside of me that we are not the only ones in this universe. This is something that I felt even as a young age, as we were still developing technology. It just never seemed plausible to me that this universe only had us in it. It also allows my mind to feel confident that some of the illusions that I've been able to expunge were valid in my discard of them. I have learned from various practices that God was made in his human image. And with the evidence that interstellar beings are highly plausible to the point where they already exist within our space, that completely shuns that notion for me. Because if God creates the universe, that encompasses everything within the universe. So no longer are we able as humans to authentically claim within our ego that we are these superior beings in which we are the direct, image of God. For me, in my experience, the truth is deeper than that egotistical I that perspective that we gain on this 3D dimension. So for me, going down this rabbit hole of gaining clarity on interstellar beings and their thoughts, regardless of appearance, where they come from, the only thing that I needed was to know if they had a consciousness. That soul component lets me know that they have the capacity to love. Knowing that allow me to realize that life itself, existence itself, is love. And I really want to talk about this to the depth of my understanding right now. At a certain point, there has to be a beginning. Existence can't happen unless there is a beginning. Let's say this. Like, there is no other option other than to exist. If we didn't exist, then there is no thought. There is no feeling. It is nothing. So we have to start from a point. And for me, I now understand that that point in which is existence itself started was love. Love is source. Love is God. You'll hear a bunch of practitioners, love and light. We're made of love and light. For the longest, I did not understand fully what that meant until I discovered that the beginning of existence was love. And the reason I say that is because life is about experiences. Experiences are able to manifest when you have a plus or minus force. I'm trying to be intentional with using the word good or bad, positive or negative, because I don't want it to be implied that they are not equal and both necessary. So plus and minus forces allows us to grow and evolve. Evolution, growth is why we exist. It's our purpose. Our purpose is to have these experiences in order for us to have life. Life was created because love existed first. Love had to be the genesis for us to have thought. Because if there is no growth, if there is no forces countering each other, then there is no appreciation for the experiences. There is nothing to grow, or there is no life without experiences. And I know some people will wonder, well, why did we sign up to experience these forces when we already had love? Well, without love, there's no existence. And if we are to exist within a perfect form of love, how can we appreciate it? How can we know what it is unless we have life? It becomes this paradox where you're going to continue to go back and you're going to continue to encircle the answer in the question. This is what makes life. This is the circle of life, the paradox, this contradiction. This is what creates us. This is what created source, the universe, guidance, processes, the system in which we live. Only life itself could create a universe so grand and vast on so many different dimensional planes. When you really dive in and begin to imagine the depth of our universe, one small change could trickle down to a new experience. Our purpose in life is to take and grow from these experiences until we are able to come back to source, to come back and learn that it was all about love. When we are able to do that, we are able to remember who we are. We are able to no longer reincarnate within the cycle. We have regained the understanding that this universe was created out of love. Because life is love. And there's nothing that can exceed that, or else life no longer exists. with this newfound revelation and clarity that we are love and light, that we are source, I have been able to feel and see the shift within myself. I understand that I operate within a 5D perspective, but it was difficult prior to gain this knowledge on understanding how to live within a 3D space. It was starting to feel as if I didn't know where to go, per se. I understood the message, but understanding where I fit within that message was starting to become a burden. However, I have now come to the conclusion that I was never supposed to seek or chase at all. Being able to manifest is to be able to attract. If in fact what I believe is to be true, then we are continuing to create this reality with our actions and experiences. I want my actions, my experiences, my thoughts to be a reflection of who I am authentically in the present moment. And authentically, I know I am God. I know I am source. I know you are source. I know we are source. I see infinity within your eyes, and I feel it in my chest. My mind feels as if it has expanded, and I am looking, or I am beginning to see this life outside of myself. The I that has plagued my life is beginning to assimilate into the we. And as I mentioned before, the gratitude that I feel was something that was unexpected. I embarked on this journey with trying to understand who I am. And in finding out that information, I am blessed. And I'm thanking my guides. I'm thanking the hurdles that were put in front of me, that I have been able and to see clearly. Without meeting and traveling and feeling unconditional love from source, without the transformation of being led and guided to my twin flame, without the knowledge from my mother to propel me to reading energy and finding my intuition, I feel my mind could have stayed trapped within the illusions that I felt for so long. I continue to see people trapped within these same illusions that I was able to overcome. And I have nothing but love for you, because I know you are made of love. You will be okay. Even if death is knocking on your door, you will be reborn. This isn't enlightenment. I feel as if there is always the ego. There is always work, but my thoughts are kinder now. I no longer attach myself to my emotions. I no longer attach myself to my experiences. I no longer attach myself to anything. Life's purpose is to exist, not to seek or chase, to simply be and attract. And learning this, I realized that enlightenment may not come until death. When the purpose has been fulfilled, when the experiences of this lifetime have come to a close, then I will be able to ascend to the energetic vibration that we are. And maybe I'll continue to be able to guide those people who really need it, just to be there for the sake of life, for the sake of love, for the sake of existence. So that will continue to be my mission as I experience this life. I feel as if my purpose is to understand how to bring this message of unconditional love. And I will continue to go down this journey, happily looking for the answers to come, while existing within the space of love and peace and knowledge that God, life, it's all love. Thank you everyone for joining me on today's podcast. I think this is a good place for us to wrap today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the discussion today. It is something that I am very excited to embark on in my life with this newfound perspective. The gratitude that I expressed today is incomparable to what I feel. It's something that you're going to have to experience for yourself. Like so many things on the spiritual journey, it is best when you put in the work and dive into the knowledge and information for yourself. That will be the most powerful teacher, more than anything anyone can ever tell you, is to experience life and enjoy its love and enjoy the freedom. So coming up, there's going to be some more podcast episodes. I've look at me. I've been a guest on a few other podcasts. Don't know when they're going to release, but as soon as they do, I would love for you guys to check those out as well. But until then, look out for me on my website. There's some good stuff going to be popping up there. I will start talking more about my spiritual coaching business, even though I said I wasn't going to do that. But at this point, I'm following my journey. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever is said can be changed. We are existing in an ever fluid environment. So, yeah. Enjoy the content. Hopefully it brings you peace, as I have found peace and solace in my own life. And I don't want to drag this on any longer. So again, thank you for joining today's podcast. As always, it is truly a blessing if I am able to touch one person with today's message. So come back for the next episode. I promise it's not going to be another 3-month layoff, but new things are coming. So with that being said, enjoy your day, love and light, and catch you on the next episode. See ya.